Hey, my name is Jake, and for the past 8 years, I've been a professional jiu-jitsu coach and athlete. And you've probably, if you're on this channel, you've seen content that looks something like this. This channel is going to be going in a different direction where I will be doing some more forging videos and blacksmithing as I prepare to start a business as a knife maker and knife sharpener and go forward into a little side hustle of mine. So guys, I hope you enjoy. I'm gonna send you down to the shop right now. The first thing I want to do on this new content that we're going to be making is working with this. Now this is a Prybar that my friend uses at work as a utility locator. So I guess he sticks this in the ground, pulls up heavy, and then yeah, he bent it, came to me and said, "Jake, you're a blacksmith. Can you fix my Prybar?" And I said, "You're damn skippy, I can." Now I didn't think this was high carbon steel. So I didn't think that it needed to be tempered and quenched after that little bend back. Boy, was I wrong, because the next day the tip broke right off. You could tell the grain structure was a little bit bigger than I would have liked it to be. So as an apology to my friend, I think we're gonna make this into something special. I'm gonna make him a couple knives. I think this is enough for more than one knife, so let's go ahead and do something like that. Let's go over to the drawing board. All right, so here we go. We've got this Kukri profile drawn out. It's got about a little over a 10-inch blade with something like a 4.5-inch handle, which I would say is about just big enough for my hand, and I have a pretty big hand. Now, 10 plus 4, that's about 14 inches of steel. I think we can take about 12 inches of this steel. I actually ended up getting down to 12 inches and leaving this bit on the tip here because I'm actually gonna smash this and make it into a little tab that I can hold on to, and we're gonna probably put our tip right there. Let's go and cut it up. Well, there's our piece. Let's go ahead and light the forge and get to it. That's been heating up. We're gonna go ahead and make that tab. That way it fits into my box jaw tongs. These are my favorite tongs. My wife got these for me, and they just make life so much easier. You gotta make your work fit your tool so that way your tool fits your work. Am I right? All right, let's see how that fits. And it's all right, a little wiggle. Not the end of the world. I gotta live with that. The first thing that we're gonna try to forge out here is gonna be our tip, and then maybe work back into the belly just a little bit. Get that nice and wide. I'm actually probably gonna switch over to my rounding hammer for this job. So let's go ahead and put this one down and get this one ready to go. Never forget your PPO. Oh, it's all f***ed up. Damn it. All right, we'll let that cook for a second longer while I defog my freaking glasses.
My glasses! I can't see without my glasses!
That's the redhead in Scooby-Doo's name.
Velma!
So all we're gonna do, take this nice hexagonal workpiece and work a tip in, kind of just get into a point.
Just the tip.
Now I've never made a Kukri knife before. Generally, I like to make kitchen knives. However, I thought, you know what? Let's try something new. let's go ahead and start to get after that belly. Oops. We are a little bit of the way through the forging. Now, one thing that's happening that I should have anticipated but didn't is that this steel was actually just too thin. So I'm not going to be able to get the width on the belly that I really wanted. So, you know what they say, blacksmiths don't make mistakes, they make smaller knives. So I guess this is just not going to be the you know, 14-inch long knife that we thought we were going to get, but instead something more like 8 inches. Let me go measure that real quick. An 8-inch kukri would be just as well as any. So we're going to use this material back here to be our handle, and then after that we'll put a bend in it and start forging on it like that. Boom. All right. So I'm seeing where I want my tip to be at.
Just the tip.
So we're gonna put that tip in. All right, now the bend, we're gonna put that right here. So I think on this next heat, that's exactly what we're gonna do.
A few moments later.
See that? This feels a lot more controlled. And our kukri is kind of starting to take. We are a little wiggly. We have a little bit of an S in the blade right now. That's okay though, because we're going to be putting on what's going to inevitably be our handle. So let's get one more heat, and we're going to go ahead and finish up that bend. I want a nice, maybe 35-degree bend there. Now I want this bend to be a little bit, yeah, that's looking a little bit more like it to me. I think I can live with that. So we're gonna leave that just how it is. Boom, there we go. We're looking pretty cool. We don't have that clip on the top how I wanted it to be there, but we might have to just put that in on the grinder. We're not terribly off the center line. And realistically, at this point in the forge, it doesn't matter a terrible amount how straight it is. That's really more of a finishing job. All right, so we're left with this much to make into a handle. All right, a little more length on that, make that a little bit thinner, and I think this is going to be exactly what we need it to be. And this smithing stuff gets you really strong in this arm and really strong in this hand, my tongs hand and my hammer hand. This bicep is going crazy. I'll show you guys later, and this one is not as crazy. Awesome. So we've got the length that we're going to want this to be at. Now we're just going to get the width down. And this is why having gloves that are easy to take off are important, because I just touched that steel. I don't know if you guys can see my hand just cooking a little bit. Hopefully, if we sell enough of these knives, I'll get a grinder to help me make more knives. You make the knives to buy the tools, to make more knives, to buy better tools, so that you can make better knives, you see, to then buy the better tools. I'm going to start using the back of the hammer, this cross peen, to widen out the material and make it into a nice bigger bloom at the back of that pommel, if that makes sense. Okay, gotta check the other propane tanks. Let's see. Oh yeah, that one's empty. Yep, all the propane is gone. Why is the propane always gone? Right, not terrible, not terrible. We have enough to work and use as a handle here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this down. No, actually, that seems like a pretty good handle length right there. Yeah, I like that. Now we've got a nice looking rough shape. I kind of like this a lot, actually. It's coming out better than I was initially anticipating. We have our clip right here, a nice recurve into a thick belly. Now, if we look at the original drawing for how big that was supposed to be, this is not as big as that one. However, it's not a terribly sized knife either. I think this is a very nice carry knife. I wouldn't hate keeping this. I think if it was too big, like down to your knee or something, that would be a lot too much, but this seems just right. Now, one thing that a problem I tend to run into when I work with like tool steels and really hard stuff is drilling holes for handles. So right here you can see I drilled, I tried to get 3 holes in for the pins, but broke my drill bit, so we're gonna have to figure out how to deal with that at another time. But for now, what I was gonna do is go ahead and get this blade heat treated. Now, I went ahead already and ground the edge in, just so that way later on when it comes to the grinding and really getting this bevel line a little bit higher, I don't have to worry about trying to set in an edge. So I like to put an edge on it, not a sharp edge, but just a, remove a little bit of material there before heat treat. That way, after I dip it, I go to the grinder, and I find it just helps my workflow a little bit more. Saves me time later on down the road. So let's go ahead and get this heat treated, and then we'll get it in the temper cycle, and then move on to getting these holes drilled out. Ha-ha! Well, that is a good heat treat. So we're looking very straight here. No warping whatsoever. Let's get her in the temper. Boom, day 2 of the Kukri build. So we have our Kukri to shape. We have it heat treated. We have it tempered. Everything about this is going well, except for drilling the holes. I figured out how we can get some holes through this very tough steel. This tool steel, insanely tough. So what I did is I took an angle grinder and I just kind of ground a channel right here through the middle. Now that made the metal much thinner, which made it easier to drill through. And not only that, but it also makes a nice spot for our glue to set in. So when we epoxy this handle together, it has a nice little channel to get in there and kind of grip to something. If you just put it flat, right, so flat scales, flat surface, and you epoxy it down,
when you squish it and you like try to get the adhesive to set, right, what happens is you squeeze out all the epoxy and eventually that's gonna pop. So what we did was we tried to get this as flat as we could on the grinder, then we put a channel in, then we drilled the holes. Now the glue has somewhere nice to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap one more of these holes and then we'll go ahead and get to our vinegar bath, which I love the vinegar bath. It's gonna clean up all this scale and make a nice shiny Brute de Forge finish. So you'll see what it looks like, because right now, as you can see, it's looking very rough, right? This black scaly stuff, the Satanite is on there. And I love Brute de Forge finish, but I don't like how that looks. So we're gonna get that off here in just a second. So first thing, you gotta use that rapid tap. We're gonna go ahead and put some of that rapid tap right here in this hole. And I should be using a vise, but not using a vise. Right, almost through. Boom, clean that hole. Clean that off real quick. Boom, and there we go. Some nice little pinholes for this Kukri build. Now we have these holes tapped in the tang of this knife. What we're gonna do is take some of this nice coco bolo wood, which shines up very nicely. And I like to do it like this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of epoxy, right? Boom, just like that. And what we're gonna do is first epoxy one scale on and then the second scale. So we'll mix it up right here. Boom. Nice and covered. Probably gonna need a little bit more than that. Boom. And we're just gonna set this down just like that. So we get it on there, find a spot that works for what we're doing. And I want it to come up to right about there. Nice. We're just gonna clamp this down. That way don't go nowhere. So that is all good right there. I see that this one is lined up nicely. Now we're gonna let that harden for the next like hour or so and then drill holes through it. And then we're gonna take this one and put it on top, then drill holes through that. So that way we get perfect fit up. It's been about an hour, maybe a little bit longer. And this appears to be stuck on there. So we're gonna go ahead and put some holes in this wood. Boom, just so buttery. I love coco bolo wood so much. It is extremely toxic to breathe in that dust, but boy does it make pretty wood. And that's kind of a bummer about a lot of these like fancy looking woods is they are just so toxic. All right, pinholes drilled. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the second one. So we're gonna do a second glue up on the other side now. Now we have our coco bolo handle roughed out. It's very comfortable in my hand as of right now. I like that a lot. I made an absolute mess here in the shop. Just so you know what sawdust does to a shop. All of this here, all of this is just thick sawdust. So everything's covered in sawdust. That's okay. We're gonna give this a quick hand sand, hit it with the Dremel, take out any imperfections, and try to just make this look as nice as we can. Then we'll go ahead and hand sand this this blade area, and then move on to sharpening and finishing touches. We have this nice coco bolo looking pretty good. Now our blade, you can see there's a little bit of imperfections there, and that's all right. We're gonna hand sand some of these out just so it looks a little bit more flush. That edge is already starting to be a little bit sharp. But first, I want to show you something. So this is one of my favorite parts of handle making, which is taking my mineral oil and beeswax mixture and doing this. We're gonna put it on there, boom, just like that. And we're gonna rub it in. Boom. Ooh, you can see those vibrant wood grain colors starting to pop already. Boom. And that's just gorgeous. We're gonna let that saturate in there. But now we're gonna throw this into our vinegar bath to get all of this scale off and make it look a little bit more presentable. So as you can see here, this was our original drawing for the kukri, and this is what we ended up with. Much, much smaller than I intended. You know what they say though, blacksmiths don't make mistakes, they make smaller knives. And today we just made a little bit smaller of a knife, and that's all right. And now we're gonna take a little bit of distilled white vinegar and go ahead and submerge this in the vinegar. Now, if you didn't know, vinegar actually gets rust off of steel. So if you ever have something that's exceptionally rusty, give it a vinegar bath and it'll come right off. So we're gonna let that soak here for a couple hours, maybe 1 hour, and then come back to check on it. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that out of the vinegar bath, and we're gonna bust off all that scale using a wire wheel on this here drill over here. So this smells like a bag of kettle chips now. The ones that hurt the roof of your mouth. As you can see, this part shines very nicely, where this part doesn't shine as much. We are back, and the kukri has been polished up to a 600 grit. I said to the hand sanding and just hit it with the wheel again and just put on some Trizex to make it look nice and shiny. Now what we're gonna do next is go ahead and polish this edge bevel and make it look a little bit shiny. We'll get on to sharpening and then see how we're doing. And haven't even sharpened it yet. Let's just see if we're cutting. Boom. All right, so we got a little bit of cut on the belly. All right, we're cutting. Actually, not terribly. We can be sharper though. So let's go ahead and sharpen this up. Using this Benchmade 20-degree file guide sharpener on this kukri now. So we're gonna put an edge on this and then do some test cuts. And then I actually don't enjoy leather work or sheath making, any of that. So I'm gonna actually take this to a buddy of mine to make a sheath for this. All right, so we got the burr built up. Now we're gonna go ahead, do a little bit of strop in here. I always thought you strop on the rough side of leather, but one of my buddies told me you should be stropping on the smooth side of leather. And I really don't know which one is correct. I feel like both of them work, but if you do know and you have an answer for me, go ahead and tell me in the comments, because I'm not very sure. But oh, look at that. Okay, so we are cutting now. Let's get another test cut going on. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a test cut. I did some because I forgot to press record, and even did a little bit of edge abuse here. We're just gonna take this and chop a bottle real quick. Ready? And whoa! Woo! Oh shit! Okay, well, that was neat. So yeah, we chopped it clean through. I'd say that cut real good. We're gonna do a little bit of edge abuse here. Just see how good that edge will hold up. And go to the paper. Oh yeah, we're in business. So I hope that my friend appreciates this a lot. Remember, we started with a Prybar and made it into a Kukri knife. So from the Prybar to the Kukri, I just had a lot of fun with this build.